Welcome to Chat and Shit, the podcast that's technically about gut health, but who knows what pan the chat led up in.
I'm Alana.
And I'm Lisa.
We're here to bring a celeb mate to grill our gut health experts, and nothing is off limits.
From DJs to founders of the gut stuff, we've seen it all. Gut health is complicated and it's super personal, but that doesn't mean it has to be boring.
Gut health is serious shit. It's linked to everything from your mental health to your immune system and way beyond.
Everyone's banging on about gut health now, but don't worry, this is your one-stop shop for gut facts,
Real talk,
and enough laughs to make your belly work overtime.
Let's get into it.
Okay, this week on Chat and Shit, we're throwing it back to the 90s with actual pop royalty, Rachel Stevens. We're also joined by Dr. Karan, who is an NHS surgeon, author, I mean, where'd you find the time, and TikTok's favourite science explainer to get all things gut health, past, present and future. And we're going to chat to Rachel about what gut health looked like as a pop star. I'm sure that's what a niche reference, but probably similar to us in our DJ days. And it wasn't green pounders and gut
Definitely
shots
not.
back in the 90s, was it? And Dr. Karan, you're going to hopefully break down what's changed when it comes to health and wellness, what we know now, and how our gut health is linked to pretty much everything as we know. Right, let's get into it. To see where your baseline is, Rachel, do you want to have a go at the gut health tracker? And we can see where your results are.
Yeah. Do you go to sleep and wake up at the same time every day? Yes, on weekdays only. But with kids, you never
chaos.
And mine are 11 and 14 now, and it doesn't change.
Oh, Rachel,
I mean, you still don't get.
I thought I was going to be out the woods in like 8 years' time, but no.
No.
43%
43% overall.
It's a C.
Could do better.
Could do better. And you probably see this all the time, and especially in training. It's like people think that, right, I've got my diet nailed, so my gut health must be amazing. But actually, our gut's linked to so much that you need to try and have all of the pillars in check.
I mean, there's even environmental factors which are out of our control. You know,
We're
our
in London, help us.
Yeah, we want our guts also have a circadian rhythm. It likes the sun. So living in the UK, we're deprived of that. So out of our control.
So if you want to uproot sticks to a hotter country, you could just say it's my microbes that would like it to your family. Yeah. When you pitch it to your family, you say, I think my microbes would like me to.
I feel like yours will be like 100% because you seem like you're super, super chilled and...
Definitely not. I mean, but like, I think my philosophy in life has changed so much over the years. I'm definitely an 80-20 kind of guy. I'll try and do the best of my ability 80% of the time, but I still want to have a Krispy Kreme donut. If it's
exactly.
If it's on show, I'll have that.
Yeah.
If I want to go out with friends and someone says, okay, let's get a McDonald's at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Fine.
I love that. Yeah.
20%.
Oh, we you have nuggets
fun.
box for sure. Yeah. Do you know what? This is every episode of this podcast we've mentioned Greg's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Listen, a Greg's sausage roll you can't beat, right?
Yeah, you cannot. Or a little steak bake. And I guess as a young doctor working long hours, it's hard. Your health probably comes last.
Yeah, meal times, stress levels, controlling all of that, and all of these things. I mean, I hate to keep saying it, but so many things out of our control, but also within our control, can influence our gut. Whether it's stress levels, what you eat, when you go to the toilet, interactions with other people. So it's scary.
And life is so fast paced now, isn't it? It's hard to try and keep that balance and consistency.
Yeah. Speaking of fast paced, being a pop star in the 90s.
Yes, yeah.
Smash hits and top of the pops vibes. What was your lifestyle like? I can imagine, like, I'm picturing like not it being wholesome but fast, like late nights, hotel rooms, tours.
Is exactly the word. I mean, it was just go, go, go. It was at a time when everything was happening, from your Saturday morning TV shows to we were touring, we were filming.
We were SMTV Live.
Yes, we were doing every single early morning show, so sleep wasn't we weren't sleeping much, and we were on planes, off planes, which also can really sort of affect your gut health. And and at that time we weren't really as educated as we are now about that kind of thing, and we were teenagers too, so
you think you're invincible anyway.
You do as best you can, right?
And what
you
sort
learn
of stuff
as you
would
go.
you eat? Right.
I've always been very conscious about my health and very into wellness, but I think my passion for it and sort of wanting to learn more and understand it more was when I came out of S Club, when I was sort of my early 20s. That's when things started to change, and
God, you were so
more
young.
educated.
So it was basically in your teenage years that you were.
Yeah, so I was 18 when I first got into S Club. So
Yeah, that's crazy.
and it was just like a crazy fast pace. We there were times where we didn't even know what country we were in.
Yeah,
all over the place.
But I always thought, like, this is like totally I feel bad. I always thought how nice it was that there were so many of you. Like how lonely it must be. Like even if you're in like a duo or 3 of you, or you're not getting on. But I just think having a big group like that, you're always going to have someone that you get on
and
with.
we would always like having a laugh, and it was a crazy learning adventure. We were all so young, all so different as well.
Yeah.
So, like brothers and sisters.
Yeah. And it's so like it's such an extreme life.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like-
Thrust into this whole new world where you have to learn business. I'd never really travelled abroad apart from a holiday with my family.
Santa
You're on your own.
Ponza.
Yeah, exactly.
Costa del Sol.
Exactly. So we got to travel, and it opened up a whole new world, and it was an adventure, for sure.
Yeah.
But a crazy one.
Yeah, and
Very
wellness
unique.
probably not. Well, I think in the 90s in general, like, you remember, like, it was like mental, like the cabbage soup diet or like the red wine diet.
It was
like,
all very extreme,
boiled
and it
eggs.
was
A
all
lot
very
of fads, I mean,
faddy.
I think we were influenced a lot more by celebrities in the 90s and noughties than we are now. And if you look at like Kate Moss, for example, right? 90s and noughties, people wanted to be her. Young women wanted to aspire to her. So that's when the whole kind of size 0 thing really took off. But nowadays, we don't see that same degree of influence in wanting to look how a celebrity looks.
Yeah, well, it's because people are following you with your hundreds of
unless
millions of
you're-
gazillions of likes. And that's where it should be, like, especially for nutrition
absolutely.
information.
But unless you're
or-
kids, I
or
think,
health.
unfortunately, I think it's gone the other way again
Really?
with
Yeah.
like TikTok and, that sort of constant filter
The
society
trends,
and the trends.
people follow
and-
trends, not individuals anymore.
Yeah.
So that's the different danger now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think as well,
it's
there was
finding the
all like
balance.
the circle of shame and all that. Like, remember when it's just crazy. Like in those 90s magazines, like the circle of shame, someone had a tiny bit of like back fat and it was like a huge article with circles on it. I'm like, it's nuts.
It was a crazy time, so sensationalist and just crazy.
What fad can you remember from that time that we can get Karen to myth bust?
Oh, the first one that came to mind was the what was it called now? The high protein. So you just eat meat. And
the Dukan
Dukan diet. Yeah,
Oh, you
that
just
was
eat
one
chicken
that
for
was
weeks.
that was massive in the 90s. Do you remember
Is that good? No.
Well, I mean, like, protein is essential. And I think most people would argue now that, there's a lot of chatter around that, are we eating too much protein? And I think you need to split it into two different camps. Like, for normal physiology, probably people are getting enough protein, but now people are also exercising more. So if you want to build muscle, you do need to eat more protein. But those sort of diets, if you're eating so much protein, you're definitely sacrificing other things like fiber, other micronutrients. So in that situation, it's not ideal.
Also very high in fat as well.
Yeah,
that kind
and
of-
that has
Yeah.
wreck your lipid profile, triglycerides, LDL cholesterol, and that's, I see it now. That same Dukan diet and all those other things, they're wrapped up in keto now. So
Really? Yeah.
same thing, different
Just
wrapping.
taught high fat.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. I mean, there was so many fads then, but now we're so educated that there's so many different, so much noise, isn't there?
Yeah.
So many sort of different things that we can all try and do that it's hard to sort of, and we're also unique and different, and our bodies are also different. So it's like finding that our own unique balance and lifestyle, isn't it?
And the stuff that actually works and we should be doing is basically everything our granny told us. So it's not sexy or
Boring
cool and
stuff.
you can't package it up. It's basically like, have more fiber, make sure you get enough water.
And we all know
like,
our own bodies more than, we
Yeah.
all know our own bodies.
Totally. Speaking of fiber, how much... Well, I think, is this true that they wanted to make the daily recommendation of fiber 50 grams, but everyone was so far from it that they were like, let's just lower this bar.
I think you should raise the bar, because if you have a low bar, people will always go under the bar.
Yeah, okay.
Right? 30 grams a day is actually pretty abysmal, I would say.
Would you? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because you can get 30 so easily.
What is the best way to get your fiber then?
So for example, a staple of my breakfast that I have almost every single day,
Yeah, this is...
60 grams of oats, which is like, half a cup of this in oats, okay?
Like
Rolled
that.
oats.
Rolled oats.
Rolled oats, yeah, like, the sort of overnight oats type thing.
Yeah.
That, 2 tablespoons of chia seeds, and maybe 50, 60 grams of raspberries or any sort of nuts. I have, or any sort of berry. I have frozen raspberries. I put it in. You can put in any sort of milk you want. Make your overnight oats. The raspberries, the oats, and the chia seeds, and you can add in some dark chocolate if you want. All of those things combined is over 20 grams of fiber.
Whoa.
Amazing.
Right? 60 grams of oats, 5 grams. 50, 60 grams of raspberries, 5 grams.
Raspberries they're quite hard to hit.
2 tablespoons of chia seeds, 10
And what
grams.
about where's your protein in that?
Chia seeds.
Okay.
Oats. It's got protein in it.
Yeah.
You don't.
See, the thing I struggle with is low blood sugar. So if I had oats for breakfast, by like 11 o'clock, I know you're adding all the sort of raspberries and the chia seeds and things, I would get like a crash.
Yeah.
So this is nicely wrapped up with fiber, so you actually get a sustained release. And fiber, one of the roles of fiber is it reduces or slows down the absorption of glucose in the bloodstream. So for diabetics wanting to maintain, or pre-diabetics wanting to maintain like a steady state of glucose, adding in fiber with kind of sugary foods is ideal. And that breakfast is so fiber rich and protein rich and sweet. I have it almost every
That's
single
my
day.
breakfast tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is your
Breakfast is
go-to
a
for
tricky
breakfast?
one, I think.
Yeah.
I'll either have eggs with some fruit, actually.
Yeah. All right.
If I'm being healthy.
Yeah.
Or I'd have a yogurt, like a real Greek yogurt, with fruits, with some nuts, with flaxseed, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
If I wanted a more sweet breakfast.
Yeah.
Actually, what I had this morning was 2 eggs and a banana pancake.
Oh, yeah,
That's
I'll make that for my
really,
son.
yeah,
Maybe we should
really,
do it,
really.
'cause it's
If you
so easy
fancy
to do.
something, because sometimes I don't want eggs for breakfast, and I want something sweet. I would love to eat cereal every morning, but I know that it would just be it's just full of nothing, right? And sugar. But yeah.
Yeah, those little pancakes. I should probably just have them when I'm giving
And the
them to my
Activia
son.
yogurts, and I just add like nuts.
Yeah, because you can
and-
spin. That's the easy thing, is like having it on the go. It's just like spinning it on.
Exactly. If you're in a rush.
And I think that's good. That's where breakfast is such a good place to get your fibre. And I think it's probably worth touching upon that, because we've always sort of known historically that fibre bulks our stool. Like our granddad Jim used to be like, makes me go when he had his like, thanks, granddad Jim. But we're now uncovering so many more benefits to fibre. Like, what are a couple that we maybe wouldn't know about?
I mean, I would say that there's not much fiber isn't involved with for human physiology, either indirectly or directly. So we know that the gut-brain axis. So if you have more fiber, the microbes that live in our bodies digest the fiber, ferment it, produce neurotransmitters or precursors to neurotransmitters, which is helpful in improving our brains. Gut skin. So if your gut is in a sort of healthy state and not in dysbiosis, so there's a disruption to that can actually reduce the risk of flare-ups of skin conditions you might get. So the gut skin axis, that's just 2 things which you wouldn't think that fiber or having a healthy gut would give you, but it does.
I think that's the thing about fibre. We've all sort of known about it. We just, it's like the bassist in the band that people don't know the name of. They're like, that guy's kind of there, he sounds good, but why is he here? And I just think now we need to bring fibre to the forefront, because it's
so about protein, isn't it? And
and there's so much other ways that you can get it, like leaving the skin on your veg, swapping white rice for brown rice, doing 50-50, like all those kind of small things really nudge it in the right direction. Okay, we're back on the fibre.
I do take fibre supplements as well. I take psyllium husk almost every day.
How much fibre do you reckon you're getting a day, Doctor?
55 to 60.
Whoa.
Yeah. But I've now, the reason I upped my fibre intake was because in 2018 I had a random blood test.
Okay.
My friend thought he was doing it, so I'd do it with him. And in 2018 I was 28 years old, and I was going to the gym, eating pretty healthy, high protein, all that sort of stuff. And my LDL cholesterol was high. And I was like, I'm 28.
That's
LDL cholesterol.
That's the bad one.
Yeah, the sort of the bad cholesterol. You don't want LDL to be up. Okay. And I was like, wow, I thought I'm healthy, I'm sleeping well, everything's fine. And my friend, who's a dietitian working in King's College Hospital at the time, she said, okay, your fiber intake is very low. She looked through what my diet was on a week basis. It was like around 10 grams a day.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was just getting that from like bread and other stuff, like not actually trying to hit my fiber. And over the next year, she worked with me to increase my fiber intake to 30.
Yeah.
And I did another blood test in sort of mid 2019, and my LDL was normalizing.
Crazy.
And for me, it was such a huge part of me improving my health to up my fiber. And for me, it's essential now that I need to keep upping it. And so I've been doing 30 to 50 to more for 7 years now.
So what else do you add into your diet for fibre?
So, you know, a lot of people, and I'm counting myself in this category, used to think fiber is just fruits and vegetables, right? You get it in spices, you get it in seeds and nuts, you get it in beans. So I eat a very kind of like South Indian heavy diet, and that requires us to eat a lot of beans, lentils, legumes, and different types of vegetables. Like once a week, I will have like an aubergine curry. An aubergine is an unusual plant to eat for most
and not
people.
easy to cook.
Yeah,
tough
like
on the old
we have spice roasted aubergines almost on a weekly basis. That's like one thing. And so it's actually just getting all of these different vegetables. And the more exotic the vegetable I found, the higher the fiber.
Yeah.
And there's even sneaky ways to add more fiber in. So like, you know, popcorn, that's pretty fiber rich as a
No
snack.
way. This is a
Moving
revelation.
up.
Yeah,
Popcorn
dark
tonight.
chocolate. So 4 squares of dark chocolate, okay, over 70% cocoa. That's around 4 or 5 grams of fiber.
That's good.
Okay.
You know,
This
that's
is- this
equivalent
is
of
good.
like 2 slices of white bread in terms of fiber intake. So,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of easy, sneaky ways just to get it in. And
Yeah.
this is cumulative, right? On a weekly basis, not forget daily. On a weekly basis, are you getting enough variety, enough fiber, rather than focusing on a daily basis and stressing?
Yeah.
I think that's the hard thing, isn't it? Is like I think as well when it comes to gut health, it's not something that we can measure directly. Like I notice you've both got Oura rings on. I'm going to go away about that because I want to get one. But I just feel like it's going to tell me too much about my sleep that I'm not getting any, isn't it? Like you can't have a toddler and an Oura ring because that's just going to stress me out.
I've had a few people say that they don't want to get an Oura
I
ring because they don't want to
wanna
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're
Because we know
not
that
slept.
you know
Bloody
as a
no,
mum
not
with
slept.
1-year-old you're not sleeping, right? Yeah.
Keeps you accountable, I would say. I
Really?
mean, when I first got it in, I think it was in February,
Okay.
I checked it on a daily basis. I checked the app, how well I slept. I've not actually checked the app in over a week
Yeah,
because
I
I'm
haven't
now
been
used
actually.
to it.
No.
And
Right.
I might get rid of it later this year. It's more of an accessory now than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks good. It's
Because
like they are jazzy. Like
They
look
are,
good.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
they do. Yeah, yeah.
It's like, oh,
And
look
when you
at-
see them with one, you're like, oh, that looks cool. That.
yeah.
Yeah. But do you think we know, like we can almost know, we've got too much data on ourselves. Like we're trying to overcomplicate health and wellness now. Because I think sometimes we can know too much and it can make it really, it's a very noisy space.
Yeah.
And we don't quite know what to trust and who not to trust. Like I feel like we can almost know a bit too much about ourselves.
I think so. I think it can be really overwhelming. There's so many things coming at us all the time, and especially when you look on social media, you're seeing snippets of people's lives that look perfectly curated, and
Yeah.
so I think it just goes
People's
back
morning
to
routines where they're scraping their
I
tongue and all
know.
that, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
where's
I
the
know.
time?
Set up their tripod
I
before they
think
get up.
I think finding a healthy balance with it, to be inspired by it and sort
Yeah.
of go, okay, I love the look
Yeah.
of that, taking elements of these things, which isn't an easy thing to do because we want to be these perfect people, don't we, all the time. But yeah, it's just being inspired by it, but knowing our lives, we're all so unique. We all have our own individual stuff and stresses and life going on. So it's just knowing what is realistic and setting ourselves up for unrealistic, goals that we're not going to achieve.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
also
sort of-
why you're tracking certain things. I
Yeah.
mean, is it going to improve your life knowing your heart rate variability if you're not going to action something based on that? And if you're making adjustments to your life, you're taking new supplements or changing a routine, tracking allows you to see if it's working.
Okay, yeah.
But if you're just doing it and you're not sure why, it's a fancy accessory that someone else has got, doesn't justify the price because these are
We're
expensive.
both saying it's
Yeah.
a fancy accessory, aren't we?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I'm probably going to get rid of it soon because like
You're
it's
like,
cool,
I'm
though.
beyond
It
my
does look
health.
cool.
it does look cool, yeah, and I would probably miss
Yeah.
it if it's not
Yeah.
there. but-
Yeah.
And
We'll
you
see.
can dip in if you want. Like you said, if you want to sort of
Yeah.
track, you can.
It's hard as well, isn't it? 'Cause, and you'll have seen probably the full spectrum working within NHS and doing what you do is like getting people to recognise that what they do on a daily basis and their habitual processes or meals or well-being does directly affect their health, and it's difficult to talk about that without being scaremongering, isn't it? Because I think a lot of particularly in the UK, we are, and where I'm from a working class Scottish background, like, health was just not being ill, and wellness was something that Gwyneth Paltrow talked about. Like, it definitely was not discussed.
Yeah.
And I think it's really difficult to get over this messaging without sensationalizing it or feeling like we're scaremongering people.
Yeah, I think, ultimately you can't sugarcoat some facts, but also sometimes, wellness influencers online want to promote some completely unsustainable thing. Like, you know, you've got to wake up at 5, do yoga, kale smoothie, all that kind
On
of
your
stuff.
head. Stand
No
on
one's
your
going to do
head,
that, right?
drink a green smoothie.
Yeah, no influencers make content for a mum with 2 kids doing like 2 jobs, or like a single dad. You know, that content is missing. So you need to meet people where they're at already and look for low lifts. How can you do one small thing that compounds over a year? That's what people want.
Yeah, how did you go about kind of resetting, obviously coming out of S Club and that chaos? Was there things that you started to do for yourself? Or, I mean, I guess having kids just shifts your whole, like, universe. But was there things where you just like, actually, I've been on that train for so long. Is there things that I can start to do for me and my health and my well-being? And
yeah, I mean, I came out of S Club and had to almost reprogram everything.
you were,
I really did, because I kind of just became Rachel from S Club 7. That was kind of what I was doing from a really young age. And so, yeah, I came out of that and had to sort of go, right, what is it I want to do? And I had to ask myself, you know,
who am I?
Exactly. It's a big conversation, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yes, that's when I started to, I guess social media started to come about then. And there was, you know, I was sort of open to a whole new world of space, actually, of time, and learning everything again. That sounds really crazy, but you know what I mean?
But it is, because, especially because, like, you know, I've seen that in action, particularly with pop stars. Like, you get your passport handed to you.
Yes,
you get everything. Like, your autonomy is not done, there.
Yeah.
Because you're literally, you have a schedule, you wake up and you're like, okay, you get your passport handed to you and you go through there, and that's it.
We you know, at that age, we're still very impressionable.
Yes.
And, you know, at that stage when you're going to university and you're cooking for yourself and you're sort of learning, we didn't do that. We had a totally different journey.
You weren't having pasta pesto and halls like I was.
But actually, me and Joe used to, when we were in Miami 7, we would go back to our room and we would put jacket potato in the microwave. Stick some cheese on it, and that was our dinner: melted cheese and jacket potato. So
I could do that right now.
I'm a big fan of that meal, to be fair. It's nice.
Cheese
I was going to
beans
say,
on
what
a
is
jacket
your
potato.
is there a comfort meal that you used to have when you were doing long shifts? Like stuff that you were like, oh yeah, I'm really craving.
Honestly, when I was at the later stages of medical school, when I was doing like loads of revision for finals, and even the early part of being a junior doctor, just getting beans on toast and, you know, like, because it's not unhealthy.
Yeah.
It's bread and it's some beans, and, you know, you can put some cheese or whatever on it, maybe some tuna on the side or whatever. It's like a 2-minute meal, and it fills you up, and when you're hungry you eat anything, and it's not like a takeaway pizza or something like that, right? So that's beans and toast. Like,
it's not bad for the little fibre count.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of fine.
Yeah. 10 grams maybe.
What's your go-to, like, cozy, make you feel better meal?
Cozy go-to. I would actually probably say
Beans on
that.
toast.
It's such a cozy, like, comforting. You know, it's like when you weren't well when you were a kid or whatever, you'd have just beans on toast or even butter. The simple things sometimes.
You know
are
what's
just
a
the cozy.
throwback from 90s? Do you
go
remember?
top.
Like, just as an aside, like the 90s was just elite for music, right? S Club 7, Boyzone, All Saints, all that stuff, right? But also, remember that advert, the Lee and Perrins advert, where they dropped the little...
cheese on toast.
Cheese on
Worcestershire
toast.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
The advert with the
This
little
is literally
drop.
flying back to me, and it was like...
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Grilled cheese on toast.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about the 90s, like, stuff that went on in the 90s, food-wise, would not... Like, Sunny D. How was that legal? Like, kids were turning orange. And...
Iron Brew.
Iron Brew, obviously.
McDonald's parties.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Well, that's going.
Yeah. Oh, my
Show
gosh,
my age now,
used to go,
actually.
and Ronald himself used to come out.
Yeah.
And you'd have a party. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Don't do those anymore.
Yeah, they retired Ronald. It's sad, isn't it?
retired?
Yeah, you barely see him now.
No.
Where do you see Ronald?
He's not even really on the packaging anymore, is he? No. Hashtag gut health, guys. Hashtag gut health.
Yeah.
Other things about the 90s, though, like stuff that would, like Space Raiders and all those crisps, like, they would not, I mean, the nonsense that was in them. And they taste amazing.
Yeah.
But, like, Monster Munch and Space Raiders,
so
like,
good. Yeah.
they stripped your tongue. Oh, I'm surprised that we all have taste buds left.
True.
They did.
Yeah, the pickled onion was
But I love what you
bleach.
said earlier about
Yeah.
the what? Pickled onion.
Pickled onion is just like bleach for your
Oh
mouth.
my God,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like-
Yeah.
But I love what you said earlier about that balance of, you know, you've got to live. If you want to go out and have a glass of wine or whatever it is, as long as you're kind of really mindful about what we're putting in our bodies and what the movement we're getting. And it's like that sort of, like you said about the baby steps and habit stacking as well. I like the idea of that. You know, when we're going 100 miles an hour and we feel like we have to do everything, maybe it's just implementing like 1 or 2 things that are achievable, and then just habit stacking some really like wellness stuff.
Yeah, because I think it is like it's all so extreme. It's like either you're like, as you say, like standing on your head drinking green smoothies and doing gong baths and all that sort of thing, where it's like well-being can be like going to the pub with your pals and talking about everything and nothing, because it's actually meditative to chat and have a drink with your friends.
Soul.
And I think that we've sort of created an industry out of like nonsense.
Like, for example, I love jam, right? I just love to like jam on toast or whatever.
Toast,
I wonder what you're going to come out with there. Like, wasn't expecting jam.
No, but like, you know, jam, you get in little bottles full of preservatives and additives, emulsifiers. You know, there's growing data that it may disrupt the gut microbiome.
Really?
Still need more research on that. And it's just high in sugar as well. But I still love it. So I'm thinking, how can I still meet myself in the middle where I'm still enjoying jam in some way, but I can make it healthier? And there's something I implemented probably in the last year where I don't buy any more jam. I just make my own jam at home. Frozen raspberries, you just kind of melt it in a pan or whack it in the microwave to just melt it down. Add in literally 1 or 2 tablespoons of chia seeds and put in some maple syrup or honey, and you've got jam. And it literally has this kind of nice mouthfeel as well. And you put it on yogurt, you can just spoon it
and maple
directly.
syrup gives, obviously you've got the fruit, but the maple syrup gives enough. And
it
natural.
literally tastes amazing. You can do that with blueberries, do blueberry jam, or it's like more like a compote. But strawberries, you do with anything. It's amazing.
Good for kids as well, like having chia seeds in it and having a wee jam like having a little jam sandwich.
I'm so doing that.
It is incredible. On some like rye bread or seeded toast, just that kind of homemade compote jam. That's like a little simple swap that I made, where it's not like I am now going to be this kind of influencer fairy where I'm eating super healthy green stuff.
That's what people call you now in the ether.
No,
you're an influencer fairy now, my
with
friend.
a million ingredients. That takes, you know.
Like I can't. I save all these things on Instagram, but I'm never going to make them.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
I'm really good at doing that, photographing and saving things, and then just not doing them.
Yeah, well, some people have like these poke bowls of like loads of different stuff in them, and I'm like, how much stuff have you had to buy to make that look? How it does, like,
and did
crazy.
you eat it?
Yeah,
let's be honest. Did you eat it?
You got chips on the side. You just kind of
exactly.
It's like people have to say every time with a Caesar salad, I always order chips on the side. And this is another thing about gut health that people always expect. If I go around to people's houses for dinner, they're always like, "Oh, I've got your cookbook. Like, I've made this, blah blah blah." And I'm like, because they literally make me thinking, they're like, I know you won't be drinking alcohol because of this, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I'm happy with a red wine and steak and chip, guys. Like, you don't have to, I'm not, but I think that's the perception, is that like, if you talk about gut health, that you have, you know, green powders and that's all you have and that's it. And I'm like, no, it's not.
It's just
like
learning. It's just opening the conversation too, I think, isn't it? Because we can learn, you can take away from every conversation something that you can be inspired by, or you can add into your daily routine or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And
Tortilla chips and guacamole. That's good for high fiber.
Is it? Oh my God, that is my literal go-to. Because you can make your own with pita bread, tortilla chips, where you just chop them into like a clock, and then in the oven with olive oil.
The easiest thing I would say for yourselves as adults, but also for kids, to just eat more fiber and vegetables is hacking this cognitive bias called the mere exposure effect. So literally,
this is just get super sciencey, isn't it? Do we need to switch on?
Just literally like carrots, chop them into strips, cucumbers into strips, peppers into strips, leave them out in the countertop of your kitchen, right? And you don't tell yourself you need to eat it, or don't tell your kids you need to eat it. Just leave it there. My mum did this when I was growing up, and whenever I'd walk past the kitchen, I'd just grab some carrot sticks and just eat it.
That is a great.
You should leave it out there.
Really good idea.
It's also like a fruit bowl. If you leave a fruit bowl out, you might walk by and have a banana or an apple or some grapes. Same with fruits and veg. If you just leave it out there, you keep seeing it and you just grab it and go.
Yeah, oh my God, this is a great show.
Really
That's the only
good
thing
idea.
about toddlers, though, like you just see like I've got like a dairy table in my kitchen. All I can see is just these porky little fingers coming together, just like searching for things. And then if I've got some carrot buttons there, then that's going to be a lot better. Are there any other hacks that you have like that? Obviously the jam, crudité is just chilling out. Are there any other like health, again, the word hack, like health hacks that you have that are...
Well, I think, this is not so much of a hack, but more of like a supplement thing. But psyllium husk powder
it just looks like
It looks, it does. But
Yeah.
if you mix it in with something, like if you can mix it in with yogurts, flavored yogurt, if you wanted to, it has a more viscosity to it, but you're still getting the psyllium husk. You can even put some kind of juice into it, and have like a slushy almost of that, and just kind of eat it it's almost like
that's
jelly
another thing
like.
from the
But you
90s
have to
slush
keep
puppies.
like
No,
stirring it.
well, I mean, imagine if you
Think about that
thinking,
scene
you know, I was
from
thinking
Friends
consistent, yeah.
with the coffee.
Yeah.
if you have like, I don't know, Robinson's blueberry squash or whatever it is, right? Just put some psyllium husk into it, stick it in the fridge, and then it becomes like a sort
And
of
that's
jelly.
fiber, right? Is
It's
that
fiber.
what it is?
Pure
Yeah,
fiber.
It's pure fiber.
Yeah, from the
I did
Plantego
try
table.
that at one point, but that was at that time, funny enough, in the sort of noughties when
It was a phase.
yeah, well, we were starting to get more education about wellness, but then there were the fads, and it was kind of when it was kind of clashing together.
Remember
I guess.
wheatgrass shots? That was another one that
was
everyone did
another
for
one. Oh,
ages.
yeah,
Do you
no,
remember
I-
that?
Spirulina. Or
Yeah. I remember you used to like go to shopping centres and there'd be like wheatgrass shots randomly outside things. Like, but yeah, psyllium husk. I think it's because people were just having it like raw.
Yeah,
like, not raw, but
it's
do you know what
got
I
it's
mean?
got
Like,
a
just
terrible
because-
mouthfeel if
Yeah.
you just have it.
Yeah.
But it's the OG
It's finding
of
our own
fibers.
tastes that we
Yeah.
like and we can
Yeah.
stomach with these
Yeah.
things.
Well, maybe this is like the gut health version of a slush puppy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's kind of
Yeah.
Gut
what
health
it is.
slush
Yeah,
puppy.
exactly.
Someone was, this needs to be our next product. It's a gut health slush puppy. Rachel, is there anything else that you've heard over the years that now we have a font of knowledge that is Dr. Karan, where you're like,
Love it.
that's got to be nonsense, or like a fad or some sort of wellness myth that you've always wanted to be like, I need to ask that. It's hard when you get put on the spot. Mine's was always like colonics. I went for a colonic in a hotel room that I got on Groupon. Like when I was 21, like, you know, common sense
wild.
suggests that you probably shouldn't be, but you know, people still do it. It's common, isn't it? But
That's brave.
is
Going
brave.
into a hotel room.
honestly, I
That
don't
is
know what
brave.
possessed me,
But
but
to have
that
something.
when was it?
yeah.
The noughties?
It
or
was
90s?
well, yeah,
Yeah, we did
Jesus.
things like
yeah,
that.
it literally turned out. I got it on Groupon, and then I got
Yeah.
there, and it was like a hotel room, not even a clinic, and it was a colonic.
That was brave.
It's possibly illegal, but
Yeah.
But there's still a big craze for it, and there's just no
There is.
evidence to suggest that.
People are proud of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you don't need your colon doesn't need washed out.
No, I would argue it's can be quite dangerous anyway. I think overall, if it's like low pressure, it's not a huge risk, but you don't need it. If you're getting to that point, you should see a doctor because there's some serious bowel issues going on
Quite
there.
extreme.
Yeah.
The risks out because you can perforate your like.
Yeah,
you
if
can
it's high
perforate your colon
speed
stuff.
jet,
Yeah.
you can perforate. I've had a patient in the past many years ago who did a self colonic
Wow.
with a shower head.
Okay.
Oh,
And a hose pipe kind of DIY thing. Yeah, it sounds funny, but
Did
pretty
it work?
horrific.
Yeah, that's brutal.
We had to
Yeah.
give him a stoma because had to
Wow.
cut out a piece of his bowel, which is not nice. But also, yeah, it can imbalance the electrolyte in there. It can also irritate the rectal mucosa, the thin inner lining of
And
the
we need that,
bowels.
don't we?
We
That's
need
like-
that, yeah.
yeah.
So it's not ideal. Yeah, it's
The other thing is green powders because I get served them all the time. Like you get 975 vegetables from this one green powder. Like
Yeah.
is that legit?
yeah. They sort of hide behind proprietary blends. You're not quite sure if it's clinically
What's in it and what's
dosed.
not, yeah.
Well, they've got so many things in there, like 100 different things. They cannot all be clinically dosed. It cannot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, you'd be having a kilo worth of
I was
stuff.
going to say, yeah.
But they recommend 20-gram scoop. So you 100 things in 20 grams. That means each
Yeah.
one is like a milligram.
Sprinkle.
Or,
Mhm.
yeah,
That's
it's
the
fairy
thing.
dust.
I think it's like, going back to the fad thing. I think it's just cutting out. We all know what we should be doing, what our bodies need, and we've got amazing education out there and people we can go to for advice, like health practitioners. So I think it's just keeping things as simple as possible, being inspired by things that we think, I can implement that into my life, and sort of balancing everything, because there is so many great marketing campaigns and so many, so much noise out there that it's just kind of stripping it back a little bit and doing what we know is good.
Yeah. Trusting your gut instinct.
Clean
isn't it?
eating.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Getting
boring stuff.
moving, like drinking lots of water, all the stuff that sound exactly.
Is there anything that you've ever had in your DMs that has been, what's the wildest one that you've made? Could you debunk this myth for me? I bet yours
well,
is absolutely mental.
Not appropriate for this
really?
podcast. but
Oh, it is. Good.
Oh, it is.
yeah. Well, I get all sorts. I get pictures of people's poo, pictures of
Jelly
people's...
McKeith, you were like the new Jelly McKeith.
Yeah, fronts and backs. Like, can you
Right,
see if this is is this
Wow.
cancer in my ass?
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
I get CT scans. I get X-rays. I get all sorts. And
When you say you get this, you just get it sent to you, just like
The
you'll pick up
DMs.
your phone and you'll be
yeah,
like,
on Instagram or whatever, or on TikTok, or
right.
even via email sometime, there'll be,
That
a
is doom
picture or
scrolling,
something.
isn't
And I'm just like, I don't have the cognitive powers to deal with this at 6
Also,
a.m. or whatever.
also, you can't be giving out medical advice. So,
No, you can't,
But people,
yeah.
that's the thing. And I think, to be fair, people are so desperate because they don't have anywhere to go for that sort of information, or they're not getting,
Yeah,
their GP.
it is
or whatever.
desperation.
So
yeah. Because it's fear, desperation. It's something they've seen online and like, oh my god, is that me? And I wish I could give some sort of reassurance, and I wish I was, cloned in 1,000 so I can answer all those things.
Yeah.
But I'm literally getting, if I add up all my different socials that I'm on, probably upwards of 500 messages a day.
I can imagine.
Of different
you've got
things.
Is it like you've got like 2 million or 1 million on Instagram alone, people? So
Yeah,
like,
so
yeah,
there's sure Instagram alone. There's maybe 50 to 60 new messages a day, and that's
crazy.
that's just without me even being active.
Does it make you anxious looking at them all?
No, it did initially. I was like, oh god, I need to respond because they'll get pissed off with me or whatever. But I've realised that if it takes me a minute to reply to a message,
Yes,
right?
hour
If
you
I'm
do.
getting there's more
Yeah.
across everything. I'll just be doing that all day. No
and it
time for
blurs
anything
the
else.
boundaries, doesn't it, of what
Yeah.
It's
And
a
if
really
it's a
tricky
health
one.
question-
It's a new pop star. This is the pop stars of 2050. This is it.
But also, if it's a health question, you got to think about it. What's the person's background? And that's
You don't
like an
have any other
hour.
records or
Yeah, you
anything.
can't. So
Yeah.
it's not safe for either of us to be doing that sort of dialogue online.
Yeah. I mean, we could pick your brains all day, but Rachel, is there anything you've learned that you didn't know about already in today in this
today?
podcast? Yeah.
I just love the conversation. I really get. I honestly just even talking about the jam or the certain things. I'm like, my God, I can go home and
Yeah.
do that. Just sort of simple, easy things like that.
God, everyone's going to be getting all Mary Berry on us and making their own jam because of you. We're
Yeah,
gonna
but I
be-
actually find like having conversation like this, I'm always someone who goes away and like it processes,
Yeah.
and then I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, that was really interesting, and then I sort of learn that way.
Yeah.
I'm a processor.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Say you can go. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Mine's is definitely the slush puppy.
ADHD brain.
Yeah, but the thing is, it does take you to go
The
away,
slush
and then
puppy,
like
yeah.
your
The silly-
subconscious just things, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna,
Yeah.
I'm gonna. And there's a smart name like psyllium, like
You're going to
slush,
get psyllium husk now.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
am. And
Silly
I'm gonna make slush
puppies.
puppy. Silly puppies.
puppies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Look at that.
Silly yum.
Silly yum.
Yeah,
Slush.
psyllium slush doesn't sound
Yeah,
that
silly, but
Silly-
silly yum slush. Okay, right. We've all got patent.
Done.
3 of us own
Yeah,
30%
let's do
each.
it.
We're doing it. Thank you so much, guys. This is I've
thank
learned
you.
loads
Thank
as well.
you.
Thank you.
Did this gut you excited? Join our 100 Days to Hack Your Gut Health programme. The link is in the bio.
Come and find us over on Instagram too, at The Gut Stuff. Pretty simple.
Thank you again to our guests and our sponsor Activia. Hit subscribe. Your gut will thank you for it.